Moneyweb at midday for all your up-to-date stories.
South African motorists are once again, I see, paying the price for a licensing system that appears unable to perform even its most basic functions. Johannesburg licensing centres have reportedly run out of the secure paper needed to print vehicle licence discs and registration documents, while motorists continue to battle long queues, unreliable online systems and repeated service interruptions. Government is promising, it says, greater digitisation, but why is a modern licensing network still being brought to a halt by paper shortages and ageing technology? Let's turn our attention to Wayne Duvenhage, who's the Chief Executive Officer of the organisation Undoing Tax Abuse. He is following this situation carefully. Wayne, how can a major city simply run out of paper required to issue vehicle licenses?
Yeah, look, the major city is running out of everything. Petrol and so on. So yeah, this is just bad planning. Why? It's these specialized papers. It has to be ordered. You have to plan for this, and it's not like they didn't know that they were running out of paper. It's not like they don't know how many people are coming to have their licenses done and renewed, and so this is just sheer incompetence, quite frankly.
And the way I see it is it's not necessarily an isolated problem as far as Johannesburg is concerned, but probably a symptom of a wider national dysfunction. The problem's been brought to the fore here in Johannesburg, but there are wider repercussions and implications, I imagine.
Yeah, there are. I mean, Jeremy, people plan their days. They take time off work to go and get these licenses done. It takes a long time. It's a hell of an effort to get there and then be told that, we've run out of paper. Basic stuff is just unacceptable. And as you were saying, we should have been far ahead of where we are, modernizing the whole licensing system, which should be digitized by now on your phones. We're still running very old systems. I don't know why the Department of Transport is just not getting their act together, getting all of this coordinated properly so that we can move into the new age of technology. We are so far behind.
Do you have a concern that the licensing system as it stands right now, Wayne, maybe creates opportunities for corruption and even middlemen because the official process is working so poorly? Surely this is open to corruption.
Certainly is, absolutely. And that's what we get a sense of so often, is people don't want to modernize, people don't want to digitize. I mean, you could have the whole driver's license prevent corruption, but it seems like there's a lack of a desire to do so, and so we keep suffering the consequences, the people.
On a practical level, do you have any advice as to what kind of proof people should keep if they have tried unsuccessfully to renew their licenses? How do you mitigate?
Well, it's very difficult to have proof other than try and photograph that you were there, but no police officer is going to do anything about that and say, you have tried, so please be lenient with me. You do have 3 months of your license expiring to be replaced. I just think you've got to go ahead of time, 2-3 months before. You can't go earlier than 3 months, I think, and just go putting them under pressure. But what we've got to do as society is keep putting government under pressure to modernize and to get up to speed and not allow these problems happening.
And when that happens, government comes back and says it is considering replacing physical licenses with or license discs with electronic verification. But again, one's got to ask the question, is the country technically ready for that? Probably not.
Yeah, it is. It should have gone there some time ago. In fact, we did a whole a presentation to the department to push the license renewal period out to 10 years so that it reduces the pressure on the licensing department by half, by the way. We did the research. We've right back when Fikile and Belula were still going to do it. Then we found out they had already approved it in 2013, and they rescinded that decision. They are really all over the place. Now Minister Creasy has said, they've looked at it, they're going to go to 8 years. This was long. And here we sit and we're saying, well, why are you procrastinating? 8 is not quite 10 years, but it's a lot better than 5 years. That would ease a lot of pressure, all of this nonsense. So they make a decision, but they just I don't know, like rabbits in the headlight, deer in the headlight, just stuck. They cannot proceed with the decision they've already agreed to.
So who's ultimately accountable when licensing centres can't provide these basic services?
Well, the Department of Transport is ultimately responsible. They will blame the provinces, like when we pointed out all the vehicle testing corruption was happening. They blamed the provinces. We said, but you have the national mandate for road safety. If vehicles are unroadworthy, you've got to oversee this. And then on this issue, they'll blame the licensing centre for not ordering on time, or the city of Joburg for not having money to pay for the paper. It just everybody else. But if you're the Minister of Transport, this ultimately sits with you. You need to get everybody into the room and say, this is grossly unacceptable, from the provincials down to the local government, and say, fix your nonsense. If you're not ordering on time, and you could, by the way, you could automate that whole ordering system. How many licenses have been issued? How much paper you've got? It's not difficult. It's not rocket science, this, Jeremy. It's just a lack of will and competence. And we keep saying so many problems exist because the wrong people in the positions, because it's a cadre deployment issue, I think.
Lack of will and competence, Wayne Duvenage, but is it also a lack of money? Does the funding exist to fix this?
Yeah, look, I believe we have enough money in this country to fix anything. If every rand was spent where it should be spent, then we've got the funds. It's just that too much money goes missing for the wrong reasons. And as we were saying earlier on, corruption is probably the reason why they run out of money, because they're not spending it in the right areas.
So just a final one then. Apart from the minister calling everyone into a room to crack the whip, what other immediate intervention do you think the transport authorities need to make clear as far as this current disruption is concerned? Or do Johannesburgers simply have to live with the problem?
Well, we shouldn't have to live with the problem. So the authorities in the Department of Transport in Joburg that make sure that run the license need to have the paper ordered. They what they should have done just happened yesterday. It's been going on for some time. They should have rushed off to where they have to go and get this paper and get it delivered. Now you'll have a courier problem or a back order problem. It really isn't difficult. Whoever's in charge of transport in the city must take responsibility, but so should the MEC for transport in Gauteng, who should be visiting the next day when they see that type of...
Yeah.
This is basic errors. Should have got involved. The minister should have got involved, because it's not like they don't know about it. They all know about it. And this is the biggest city. So when people in Joburg start queuing up and be run out of paper, it really is a problem.
Wayne Duvenage, thank you very much indeed. Chief Executive Officer of the organisation Undoing Tax Abuse.